base belong to us.
You're listening to Gamers Digest, a podcast where your hosts put the controllers down just long enough to talk about gaming news, rumors, and anything else they can think of. Here are your hosts, Spider-One and Mr. Factastic.
Did you have a good laugh? You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I got it all out of my system.
Welcome to Gamers Digest. We are a fan podcast. We talk about gaming news, rumors, pretty much anything that's going on in the world of video games. We do, reviews, previews, pretty much whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. All video game related. Sometimes we go off topic a little bit.
Mostly. I think one of our shows was half an hour of NFL and half an hour of video games.
Mm-hmm. And then we did one about Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Chatting.
Chatting Dead.
Yeah,
Chris Hardwick stole Talking Dead.
Yes.
Smart guy.
He's
kind
always
of ahead of the curve.
He's still annoying. So.
He knows how to do it, though. I mean, he's in the same business as us. This is how he got famous. So hopefully we can get just as famous. And we can host a talk show for one of our favorite shows. Like,
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, maybe.
I still need to see season 2.
Yeah, we should do that before it starts up at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So, this is episode 41. We have lots and lots of news to talk about. Nothing as exciting as the PlayStation 4, but still a lot of good stuff. We got a couple of discussion topics, and we're reviewing Wolverine.
Yeah.
The X-Men Origins game. We both played it.
Yeah, it's gonna tie into our last discussion topic for the day.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of transition a little bit than we are now.
Yeah.
So, what did you play this week?
I played X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I know, it kind of set you up for that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you set me up for that one really good. I mean, it's for a Let's Play that I've been wanting to do. I've been thinking about it, and I did get to play it again. And, of course, we played this game back when the game first came out. Mm-hmm. And what was it, like 2009, I believe?
That sounds about right.
It's 2013 now. Since we're going to be reviewing it, I won't say too much, but it was good to play it again.
Yeah.
And it's still fun, but we'll talk more about it later.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it. I also played a little bit of older game this week. Aliens vs. Predator, the 2010 edition. I had such a bad taste in my mouth from Aliens Colonial Marines that I had to go back to the next closest game, which is AVP 2010. Because there was an AVP for 2000 and then AVP 2, which came out, I think, in 2001, 2002.
2003, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. And that one you can't find. So I did go back to the 2010 one. I actually might do a review on that, not this week, but next week, because I did just finish the campaign last night again, so kind of refreshed. But it's a lot better. It is a lot better.
Yeah, I remember playing the demo for it back. I think around the same. It came out around the same time Heavy Rain came out, and yeah, it was a really good experience. It reminded me a lot of the older Alien vs. Predator game. So.
Yeah, I mean the Marine campaign I did last, just so I could kind of have the alien experiences there, and comparing it to Colonial Marines is like night and day. Like in AVP, you actually get that sense of terror. Like it throws you in those dark hallways with just a pistol, and you don't know where the aliens are coming from. Like they're dragon bodies and stuff like that, and they pop out.
It creates the atmosphere that was totally not in the other
It's
game.
not until probably about midway through the campaign that they finally, I don't want to say they drop that, because they still have that, but they throw more of like the run and gun in there, and it kind of plays well into the story, because at that point the infestation is kind of completely broken out, and they're still popping out of the walls and stuff, but you still don't feel invincible. Like, you know, these aliens, if you let them get close to you, you're done.
Did the alien blood damage you?
Oh, yeah. In fact, it stays on the ground, too. Like, the bodies don't stay on the ground, but they dissipate. So they don't just disappear. They dissipate, and they leave an acid puddle for a little time. Okay. So even if you walk over that, it damages you. So, a lot better. I did some World of Warcraft. Actually got back into raiding. Uh, not heavily. Pretty much just a group needed something, so I went with them. Kind of that benefit of like what I was talking before, where that guild has so many things running. You know, I can kind of just pop in and pop out. So that's kind of cool. I did some Portal 2. Did Naruto a little bit. I kind of wanted to play that game again, but now I got a little discouraged because I realized that I got almost 90% of the trophies, and I was like, dang, I didn't think I got that far. So, but oh well. And Fable 3, I started Fable 3. I didn't.
How was that? I think my brothers liked the first two, but they did not like the third.
I'm not even close anywhere near where
Is
I
that
can
the
say
one?
it.
Is that the opening that had like a chicken or something in it? That was like.
That's the second one.
Okay.
But the third one, you're like a king. I really only put like an hour into it, so I basically got through like the opening story. And I didn't even really get to the part where they let you actually play the game. So I don't even know how combat and any of that works. But I'll probably be playing that pretty heavily this week. And tomorrow's big release, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it's coming out. I forgot about it.
That's exciting.
For like a 4-hour block maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I was supposed to be getting it for a gift. I'm pretty sure my brother's watching.
Yeah.
So
make sure you get that for him
Yeah.
as a gift.
Mhm.
Give me a copy too. That'd be great.
I can't wait to play it. It's been getting good reviews too.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw IGN's review. I saw a couple other sprinkled here and there. So that's
It bodes well for the game.
yeah. There you go. Sorry, having brain death.
Brain fart.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, we got some news and rumors tonight. Like I said, nothing as big as PlayStation 4, but I will try to slog my way through this.
Yeah.
So you actually have the first story. So
Yeah, I was
throw it to you.
surfing. I was surfing the net yesterday, and I came across this story. Basically, and we'll link to it in the description. Children with dyslexia learn to read better after playing action games, and this story or this research study was pretty interesting because basically, when you read, the way you look at words, your mind is paying attention to segments of the words in order to like sound them out and like give them meaning. Well, for dyslexic people, it's hard for them to do that. And when you're young, if you play in this study, the students that played Rayman, Raving Rabbids, a game where it's like a lot of like twitch reaction, like when you're shooting with the
Duck Hunt style.
Yeah, Duck Hunt style. I'm assuming they
Yeah.
were playing it for the Wii.
Going old school.
Yeah, I'm assuming they were playing it for the Wii, but the kids that played the game in the study were able to learn, do reading exercises a lot better than the study with the kids that didn't. And this lasted like it was a difference of between like a year's worth of learning.
Wow.
So I mean, it's really they want to do more studies, but it's like it's a huge difference.
And they're taking guns out of arcades. I mean,
They're taking they're taking guns out of arcades. When this, especially for like if you have a dyslexic child, this could be it just helps your brain. Basically, what the study did is I forgot to mention this. When you're doing those twitch shooting, you're forming connections in your brain to like different things going on the screen. And when you take that training and then go to the books, your mind is already attuned to.
It's like positional awareness.
Yeah, highlighting parts of words and stuff, and it actually helps.
That's pretty cool. Anything that makes games look a little better nowadays is definitely good. And I could see that. I could definitely see how that really
the correlation exactly, which is something where you don't see like a correlation between a shooting game and then shooting somebody in real life. You don't really see that correlation.
Right. But if you played the game, you'd be more accurate in real life because of the association.
Yeah, you do got a point. You do got a point there. You got a point there.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd actually like to see more of these studies because we have a couple of younger nephews that had come over a few years ago. Obviously, they're older now, and I remember them playing Rayman, Raving Rabbids, and they just had a lot of fun with it. So if it's a fun way to help fix these kind of things, because I know specifically dyslexia, that's a hard one to treat. Like that takes a lot of work. to fix. And if something like this can fix it that much faster, that's really cool. So
yeah, a year's worth of reading learning. That's a big difference.
that is, that is a huge, especially for them, because get to have enough problems as it is now.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that story. So I thought I had to throw that in there.
So we talked about Assassin's Creed 3 when it was pretty much first announced. We started a little later, so it had already been announced, but we had talked about it. So Assassin's Creed 4 was leaked on Friday through some internet sleuthing. Basically, they changed one thing in the URL, and that gave them all the access to the Assassin's Creed 4 stuff. We had reported on rumors that it was going to be pirates, and it's going to be pirates. So it's going to be called Assassin's Creed 4 Black Sails. Since Friday, they had pulled all the stuff, and then today they officially released it all. So now you can go out, you can look at trailers, screenshots, stuff like that. You can see screenshots. They're actually going back in time.
Yeah, that's why I was having a discussion today with with my coworker, and he was wondering why I call it 4, and especially when they did Assassin's Creed 2, and then they did what was it, Brotherhood, and then Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much they're really putting into this game.
I am skeptical, but they were developed concurrently. It's kind of like I hate to say it, but it's kind of like the Call of Duty games, where there's 2 studios working on them under the same brand. Wait. But the average lifespan of a Call of Duty development cycle is a year, whereas both of these games are getting 2-year development cycles. And Ubisoft, as of lately, has been doing very good with their games. Far Cry 3. Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't the most favorite game, but it was a good game. And this is going to be a big spoiler, and I can't explain it without saying it, but at the end of 3, Desmond basically dies. He's the guy in the modern era, which nobody cares about anyway. But he's done. I don't want to say he died. Something happens and he's done. Okay. But he's gone. He is removed from the picture. He was written out. So in 4, you still go forward in the modern age, but now you're taking a place as an employee for the evil corporation, and he wants to go back and learn more. And that's all they've said so far. So it's still moving forward, even though the time period comes back. And the main character is actually the grandfather of the guy in 3. He is Connor's grandfather. So it's kind of cool that you get to see more. I'm skeptical about pirates and assassins, because pirates are not assassins.
No,
there is nothing subtle about a pirate.
They're like rogues,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me sneak my 4-sail ship up next to yours and shoot you with a cannon. There's nothing assassin.
The one screenshot they showed with the whale and everything looked pretty cool, though.
The side stuff looks really cool, like the whale hunting. They said that it's going to be completely seamless. Like, that's all they kept saying in these previews is seamless, seamless, seamless. And I wanted to show a trailer, but they have a lot of the trailer stuff locked down to like IGN and stuff, so we would have got hit with copyright and stuff like that. So, but they keep saying seamless, seamless, seamless. Like you can go from land to boat to land to boat without any loading scenes, and it's almost gonna be a Wind Waker-ish, where
cool.
you can explore the open seas, find islands, find other ships. Like if you come upon a ship, you can kind of check it out in the distance and say, oh man, that ship's like level 7 and I'm only like level 2. There's no way I'm taking that ship. And they also said that they're incorporating kind of in the ground in Assassin's Creed as when you're doing something unassassin-like, like just killing guards and stuff for the fun of it, it has like that Grand Theft Auto ramp up where stronger guards come, stronger tanks come, stuff like that.
Yeah. Get your wanted level up.
Right. Assassin's Creed has that too. There's no bar that shows that. It's just bigger guards show up until eventually you get overwhelmed. Whereas on the naval battles, you're going to start seeing some of those bigger like war machines and stuff like that show up. So I'm skeptical, but I'm excited for it. So, and Ubisoft, man, they've been doing good so far, but they know how to play that hype machine. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll look forward to the commercials. I think the commercials will be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 commercials were cool.
Right.
So.
And Assassin's Creed 3, there was a George Washington edition leaked this week on UK sites. They don't know about US, but it's going to include all the DLC. So that'll be like the complete edition.
Nice.
I didn't put that in there because it's not really a news story. This one's more your alley.
Oh yeah, Battlefield 3 Endgame begins this week. Now it's weird because the release for this DLC is staggered depending on whether you're on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. I think this week it comes out for the premium members. This week and next week is for premium members. This week is Xbox. Next week or Xbox and no, PS3 is first. PS3 is first. Next week is Xbox and PC. And then, I want to say 2 weeks after that, the non-premium members will be able to get it. And then another week later, then the non-premium PS or Xbox and it's really
PC
confusing.
and stuff.
Yeah. Basically, PS3 gets it first.
And then everybody else.
And then everybody
staggers
else.
out.
Yep.
So what does Endgame involve?
I think they added an air superiority. They kind of like how last time they had tank superiority, where everybody gets to get in a tank and everything. This time, everybody gets into the aircraft, and that'll be something because those aircrafts are tough to maneuver. There's a motorcycle, obviously the new weapons and stuff.
Right.
I think the new vehicles are some motorcycles and stuff, so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
And me and my coworker were talking about, maybe like practicing a little bit, getting reacclimated to it, and then when the new maps and stuff launches next Tuesday, we might jump on there.
You know I have Battlefield 3, right? I just still haven't opened it.
Oh, really?
I have the base though. I don't have any of the DLC.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like
It's a fun game. It's a fun game.
I'm thinking about getting into it. Maybe now's a good time to jump into it. It's just there's so much other stuff I want to play.
Is. And they have the premium edition now.
Yeah,
They do.
that would have been the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Trials Evolution. I talked the crap out of that game. It's Xbox Live game. They're finally putting it on PC, which is actually where they started way back with Trials HD, which I think at that point was just Trials. But Trials Evolution Gold is coming to Steam, and if you pre-order it right now, you get beta access, which basically lets you play the whole game almost. So that's cool. I mean, if you haven't played Trials on Xbox, get it for PC. That's about all I can say about it. I've talked. I've done reviews, previews, everything.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It's cheap too. I mean, it's only like $15. So, Capcom finally deciding to celebrate Mega Man's 25th anniversary is releasing something really cool for Mega Man fans. Mega Man fans. That's a cool way to say it.
Mega fans.
Well, I don't know about that. But they're releasing a flash drive which includes a bunch of Mega Man stuff, including the recently PC exclusive Mega Man Cross Street Fighter game. So it'll be available on their store starting next week, I believe. And
yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a Mega Buster keychain?
I know you want one.
I do want one. Man, that thing would be amazing. The only thing that worries me is I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, man, that thing would be really awkward on like a laptop.
Yeah,
like, you know, it would like push the laptop up and stuff like that. But otherwise, that looks really cool.
How big is it? Is it 16 gigs?
16 gig, and it's going to be $20, which that's actually, you know, it's not a great price for a 20 gig flash drive, but for a Mega Buster, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So
you get the game on there, and
yeah, and I mean the game's free to play, but there's a lot of art stuff on there. There's a lot of, you know, anniversary stuff on there. So it's definitely worth it to anybody that's a Mega Man fan. It's nice to see them celebrating it one way or another. They could
Mhm.
give us a new game, like
Yeah,
a new actual game.
You think they would have done that?
Mega Man Legends 3, that would have been great. Or a new Mega Man X game.
But alas,
Whatever.
they did not. Let's see, what's the next story?
This one's
Oh, yeah,
you.
this one's up my alley as well. So, Beyond Two Souls, I previewed this game a couple months ago. Basic from the creators of Heavy Rain. They finally released a release date. Now, I thought the game was going to be coming out, well, like 3 or 4 months ago. I thought the game would maybe be coming out around this time of the year.
Hmm.
But they finally gave a November 8th release date, and they also announced that Willem Dafoe is going to be in this game.
That's right. 100% more William Dafoe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we got Ellen Page. She's playing the lead. She has these weird psychic powers or something like that.
Basically, superhero Ellen Page talking to evil scientist Willem Dafoe.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this game. Now that there's a November 8th release date, it is going to be for PS3,
Yes.
not PS4, PS3.
Oh yeah, should I mention that? Assassin's Creed 4 is going to be on everything.
Yeah, it is.
3,
Yeah.
4, Xbox, next gen Xbox. They didn't say that specifically, but they're hinting at it. Wii U, all that.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's a big point.
I'm not too worried about not having a PS3 or anything, because like that was the only game besides I think Last of Us that I was interested in playing for the PS3 this year.
Is The Last of Us out?
Not until this summer, I believe.
Okay. Well, we could always use mine.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm glad we have a release date finally, and since it is pushed back that far, I actually feel a little bit better because I know they're polishing up the game. So, very cool.
Well, more PlayStation news. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, or as I abbreviated, POSBRA.
Yeah, every time I see that, I'm like, what the hell is that?
Because I don't want to type out PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I don't even want to say it. But they're getting their next 2 DLC characters. It's going to be Zeus. He's the god of thunder, or lightning, or whatever.
Mhm.
The head god from God of War.
The god from Greek mythology that can't keep it in his pants.
Yes, that's pretty much all of them.
Mhm.
But and Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. So he is going to be shooting the legs off of Sly Cooper and Zeus and Kratos and
That's
everybody else.
That's pretty amazing.
And including in that DLC is going to be an Unfinished Swan level, which if anybody hasn't played Unfinished Swan, you should probably check that out because it is a very cool game.
I think this story is pretty cool right here. Gran Turismo 6 will be out on the PS3 this year. I remember back when Gran Turismo was like one of the flagship game that got the PlayStation going.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I owned Gran Turismo 1 and 3. Those are the only 2 I owned, and I played the heck out of 3. And I never got to. I wanted to get 5, but it's like I don't know if it's out or not. I know it's out, but it's weird. The way they
5 was
released it.
weird because they were like, okay, we're gonna release 5, but here's the base edition. Then you gotta buy cars. Oh well, here's the complete edition, but you gotta buy more cars. Here's tracks. They microtransactioned it out, and everybody's like, well, this is stupid.
I had no idea what 5 was. I know I have Gran Turismo 5 Prologue.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They screwed up there.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 PS3 this year. That's kind of surprising. I figured they would have.
Do it for PS4.
Yeah. But
probably they didn't want to extend the development for it. I guess I don't know. But,
yeah, we only had to wait 4 years in between 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
GameFly, your favorite renting place of choice, laid off approximately 15% of their workforce. That may sound like a lot, but I think it only equated to about
35.
Yeah,
people?
I was gonna say, I thought it was about 40. So, but yeah, 40 employees. They say nothing to worry about. It's pretty much just trimming the fat. No money loss, no anything like that. Just restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of restructuring going on around.
maybe it has something to do with the post office not delivering on Saturday anymore. Maybe they're like,
Probably.
well, we won't need you 40 people to ship on Saturday anymore.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it.
Who knows? I mean, Ouya! We haven't talked about the Ouya for a while.
I know.
That was like one of our first stories. Do you know that?
Our first breaking story. Yeah.
Yeah. Ouya, which is the Android-developed console, which you can do anything you want with, is shipping March 28th to Kickstarter backers, and you found it on GameStop.
Yeah, I sent you that link to
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you can pre-order it on GameStop, and that's going to be coming out in June for if you want to
Everybody.
buy it. Yeah, for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I don't know if I'll buy one, but I'll definitely check it out. Like I want to see what it's all about, and maybe pick up a used one. But $99 starter cost for a console that's open source. That's just asking people to go in and mess with.
Oh
it.
yeah, sure.
So
imagine what the Ouya will be. Not only 6 months from now, but like a year from now.
yeah, I mean, who knows what people will do?
Oh, and Sony sold a Tokyo office building. I think a month ago we had a story about how they sold an American Sony building for I think they sold that one for 1.1 billion. They sold this one for 1.2 billion. It's weird because the building actually looks like a PS2.
It does.
It looks like a PS2.
I wish I owned a building that was worth a quarter of that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You can buy a house with that.
Yes.
Well, you can buy quite a few houses with that.
Yeah. Sony said that they're looking for a new. They don't have another place to go yet, but I guess they wanted that money now.
They need it. The PS4 is coming out.
Yeah, that's not a good sign when you're like, we've got this great brand new console. By the way, we're liquidating. We're leaving.
We need some. They need some extra
Yeah.
capital money, because most systems are designed to they're supposed to lose profit for a while before it actually becomes profitable.
Right.
So I guess they're creating.
They're bracing for that impact.
Yeah, they're creating that little cushion there.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, based on the specs of the PlayStation 4, that they may price themselves out of competition if the price is where people think it might fall. So we'll see. I'm telling you, man, everybody's worried about the price. I'm like, you're not going to worry about the price because it's going to be contracted. Like if they know half of what I think they know, they are going to contract it out like a cell phone. Because I mean,
give people make people be PlayStation Plus members, maybe.
Right, exactly. Basically, say you agree to play for PlayStation Plus for 2 years, and you can get this console for $200. So
that would work.
That's how I got my Xbox.
That would
Same
work.
exact way.
That would work.
So, all right. Well, we got a couple of discussion topics. The first one actually has come up multiple times in my head, and I didn't really quite know how to pitch it. So we'll try it out. I don't know how well it's going to go. But our second one is going to be the one we skipped last week, which is licensed video games, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But the first one I wanted to talk about is we bash JRPGs pretty regularly on this show.
Yeah, it's funny because they were the it thing back then.
Right. They were what everybody loved, like Final Fantasy, Star Ocean, Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger. God, the list goes on. And now, what's the last big JRPG besides Final Fantasy?
I was going to say the last JRPG that I really enjoyed was Lost Odyssey. Or was it Last Odyssey? It was Lost Odyssey.
Right.
Yeah, for the 360. And that was it.
Right, and when did that come out?
2010, maybe?
No, it was before
Older
that.
2008?
Because you were playing that when we were in the old apartment.
Or, it was old. I could look it up, but yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. So, the last good JRPG I've played was Tales of Graces. That one was pretty good. But no real, popular ones. So.
And I don't even like Final Fantasy anymore.
Right.
I'm not...
13 was just kind of
Yeah,
I never played 12. I completely skipped 12 because 12 didn't interest me.
It came out in North America in 2008, February 12, 2008.
I was about to say because we weren't living here at that, so
It was at the trailer.
yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
So 5 years ago, you played a good JRPG. Now, Western RPGs. What's the last good Western RPG you played?
Mass Effect 3?
That was what, last year?
Yeah.
Skyrim.
Fallout. There's been Fallout.
Fallout. So Western RPGs versus Eastern RPGs, you know, whether they're better or worse is really opinionated, and we can get into that if you want. But what do you think JRPGs, like the Eastern RPGs, need to do? Like, why are they falling behind?
Look, I was thinking earlier today when I saw this story that I think the major difference between the Eastern ones, or I'll say just American ones, the more American RPGs is that
Well, we're Western.
Well, wait, we're Western?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm thinking about the world around the other side, but the
Geography.
Yeah.
The more you know.
I need to play more action games. Maybe if I play more action games, I would know which side of the world is which.
So, American RPGs, Western RPGs.
Yeah. Okay, they...
Really? I mean, come on, Far East?
Okay, I see what you're talking about now. For the American ones, you have more control over what... you have more control over what you're doing in the game. Like, you have, like, okay, think of, like, Walking Dead is not a good example because it's not really an RPG, but you know how you're choosing things?
Mm-hmm.
In Mass Effect, you make choices.
Mm-hmm.
You do the same thing in Skyrim and in Fallout. You have more control over the story, whereas
Right.
the Japanese RPGs, you have that set story.
Right.
Like, I don't want to play Final Fantasy 13 because it's that story and I don't want it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have no control over it. And I think if a Japanese RPG wants to adapt to this, I mean, that used to work in the past where, you know, they wrote a story and we had to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to change and adapt to the newer standard of RPGs, they're going to have to give us a little bit more control over their stories.
I can agree with that. That's kind of what I agree with. The problem I have with it is older JRPGs were more like that than they are now. Like, they've gotten away from that. Like, they've actually, I want to say, de-evolved, or however you say it. Because, like, I'm thinking back to games like Suikoden and even Chrono Trigger. I mean, Chrono Trigger had, what, 17 endings or something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Suikoden, it depended on who you picked
You want to
up.
know what I want to attribute that to? I want to attribute that to, like, adding voice actors to the game,
Mm-hmm.
adding, you know, creating good graphics and everything, but I really think creating a story that had, like, that cinematic flair to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look back, all those older games, there weren't any voice actors, so their resources were being diverted strictly to what we were playing. Now, when you're adding these voice actors and stuff in there, like, you know, they're spending more time developing other parts of the game that they didn't used to focus on before, and that's where you kind of lose that, you know, that extra flair. You know, I feel like if they spent all their time just working on developing a really cool story, and, you know, we just read the whole game, the text from the game, maybe they'd be more like how they were in the past.
Yeah, because I mean, even like the most recent Star Ocean, The Last Hope, the way they did their endings and stuff along with their story was really weird. It was like if you were popular, I don't want to say, I guess popular is the best way I can say it. If you were popular with a certain character, you got to see that character's ending. So if you had all the characters, I think there was like 8 or 9, maybe 10 characters. You had to get popular with all of them to see their ending. If you weren't popular with them, you didn't get to see their ending. So it's not like a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're stuck like that. So
Yeah, they need to get their act together, man.
yeah.
You know, Lost Odyssey was a good JRPG.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it had those cut scenes and everything. It had the voice acting. Like, you know, there's a very cinematic, and the story was compelling enough to want me to keep playing to see what happens. But it's just not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore.
We'll see. I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles got pretty good reviews, and as far as I know, that's still pretty linear. Maybe they, rather than giving us choice, maybe even the illusion of choice would be better. So, it's hard to say. Like, I love JRPGs. I mean, we grew up with them. I mean, how many have I just named off that some people have never heard of?
Yeah.
So there are a couple coming up that are a little on the unknown side that I probably will pick up to try because they are from. One of them is from the creator of Mega Man, so we will. I will give that a shot and report back. So.
What about Nino Kuni or whatever like that?
Neo no.
Nino no Kuni?
Yeah. Rather the White Witch.
Yeah.
I'm still interested in that one.
It looks good.
But everything I've seen gameplay-wise is kind of turning me off from it. Like, graphics-wise, and even the story-wise, from what I've heard from the story, I'm actually compelled, even if it is linear, because it is a Studio Ghibli game. But it's like Pokemon. Like, the gameplay, like the RPG side of it, is a lot like Pokemon. So I like Pokemon, but that's not really what I was kind of expecting. So.
Well, that sucks.
All right. Well, we skipped it last week, and we're not getting away from it this week.
No.
We got to talk about licensed games because there are so many licensed games coming out. Slightly less now that Activision says that they're not making licensed games as much anymore.
Even though they're doing like 3 Ninja Turtle games.
Right. But licensed games traditionally are
very bad.
Bad.
Very, very, very bad.
Now that recently has kind of changed. In one of the things I want to talk about is where do you think that changed? Like, what if you could pinpoint one game where they said, okay, maybe we should put a little more work into this rather than rely on the IP.
Okay, I can't tell you or pinpoint a specific game, but I can pinpoint a change in the school of thought behind doing these games. Because before, say Spider-Man was coming out, it was like, okay, let's make a game with Spider-Man in it. Let's make a Spider-Man game. And I mean, then they like when the first movie came out, Green Goblin was the villain in it. If the entire Spider-Man game was just Green Goblin in it, it wouldn't have done very well. So they're gonna think of different ways to just like
spice it up.
Yeah, spice it up and everything. I think when they decided to take these licensed games and maybe have a little bit more creative freedom with it, that's when licensed games started to get a little bit better. Kind of like maybe like creating their own fan fiction within the universe. Now some people do it pretty well and other people don't, but I think that's when these licensed games started getting a little bit better. Like one of the best examples that I can think of was when it first happened was Star Trek actually. There's a PC game, it's a first-person shooter. So back in the early 2000s, it was called Elite Force, Star Trek Elite Force. And it was
I think I remember that.
Those games were good. They were really good. Now at that time, most people were playing Alien vs. Predator, Half-Life, and stuff like that. All those like Counter-Strike and everything. But Star Trek Elite Force, but especially the second one, they were like solid first-person shooters. And I mean, it took place in the Voyager universe, so they were little side stories, but they were really good licensed games. So,
would you say that to make a good licensed game, you just first have to make a good game in the genre?
A good game in the genre. Use the IP as like
guiding factor?
like a blueprint.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to make it exactly what this. Let's not try to recreate an episode of Voyager. Let's take the Voyager and use that as a backdrop. That whole Voyager universe, and it worked out really well.
I think they tend to do well when they stick to what the IP is good at. Like a lot of the old Batman games were not very good because they were just beat 'em ups. Like some of the old Spider-Man games weren't very good because they were just beat 'em ups. Now there are exceptions, like Maximum Carnage was pretty good. X-Men was pretty good for the time.
Yeah,
it hasn't aged very well, but whereas like Arkham, we won't even say Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was good because you felt more like Batman. Like you were looking for clues, you were hanging in the shadows, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The newest Spider-Man game, a lot of people ragged on because the swinging didn't feel right, but to me the rest of it felt right. Like sure, the swinging was a little easy, but like you felt like Spider-Man. You weren't invincible, so you had to kind of tackle it like hit and run. Grab the guys when you can. So I think that kind of stuff helps. Now we're going to talk about Wolverine, which Wolverine really only translates to a beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's just another beat 'em up game.
That's who he is. But Deadpool is coming out this season. I guess I can say season. We're pretty much there. But his can go like either way. Like I think Deadpool's a pretty versatile character. Like I think Deadpool could probably do an adventure game.
Oh yeah.
He, as as graphic as some of his novels be, I know that sentence was horrible, but his personality would be perfect for that kind of stuff. Where
I'm not gonna say anything.
Thank you. Whereas like the Transformers games really only translate to like the shooter games. So what are your least favorite licensed games? Say bottom three.
Bottom three. The TMNT game, the Ninja Turtles game for the movie that they did, the CG movie. That one was pretty bad.
Like, I never played that one. So is that bad, huh?
It was really bad. Really bad. I would say the King Kong game was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid shooter.
Yeah, it was good. I had fun playing that.
And it was shorter than the movie.
It was. You know what? This is a really hard question for me to answer because I really try to stay away from licensed games. You know, I played the demo for Iron Man.
Ugh.
Iron Man. I thought the flying was pretty cool, like flying around and everything, but I wouldn't.
See, I think that's a good example because I was going to bring up Iron Man. That's definitely in my bottom three because I hate to say it, but I've actually played that. You didn't feel like Iron Man except when you were flying. When you were flying, you felt like Iron Man because you almost felt like a nimble jet. Whereas when you're on the ground, you didn't. You felt like a tank more than a guy in a suit.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Thor was another bad one.
Thor was bad.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other ones. The old Batman games come to mind. The old Spider-Man games really come to mind. So, the Transformers games.
Superman 64.
Superman.
Yeah, that was like, I remember back when.
Well, Superman 64 wasn't just a bad license game. It was just a bad game.
Yeah.
Like it was almost unplayable.
Yeah, I remember that people
revolted.
Yeah, I remember the old Game Pros. They cut that game a new butthole.
What about E.T. back on the Atari, the one that caused the video game crash?
I did not want to anything E.T. I didn't want to touch. I did not want to touch that. E.T. is scary.
All right, so what are your top 3 licensed games?
Top 3 licensed games, I would go with Star Trek Elite Force 1 and 2, the Wolverine game.
Oh, we forgot a big one. Aliens Colonial Marines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, that was a really bad licensed game. And then Alien vs. Predator.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I did like. Yeah. What about you?
I have to go with the Batman Arkham series as one of mine. The Transformers series that High Moon did, the Fall of Cybertron and War of Cybertron, were both excellent games for third-person shooters. And Deadpool. I haven't even played it. And it's
you already know it's good?
Yep. I don't even know if it's good. It's just going to be one of my favorites.
I think they had a Punisher game that was actually supposed to be pretty true to Punisher. It was very violent and everything. I never got to play it, but from what I've seen, it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's a bunch. Luckily, right now, a lot of licensed games aren't terrible, but they're falling in like the middle of the road. Like the Amazing Spider-Man game was good. There was nothing fundamentally wrong with it. It just wasn't as fun as it could have been, I guess is a good way to say it. So like solid 7 out of 10. So luckily we're getting to that point now. And there are, of course, like we just said, a few gems on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. So the only licensed game that I'm really looking forward to is Star Trek.
There you go.
Yeah. That's another game where they took some creative liberty with it to like create their own story set in the universe. Takes place between both movies. So I mean, there's less that they can get wrong if they try to recreate a movie. You know what I mean?
True.
So.
Well, Wolverine. We didn't mention Wolverine anywhere in that spectrum,
Yeah.
and I kind of did that on purpose. But so X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's kind of what we're going to review today. Falling in with this license.
Game talk.
Yep. And we do have some video for you, so let me get that set up so you can stop looking
Hopefully,
at
hopefully
my
it won't
beard.
be double speed.
It looks about normal speed. So X-Men Origins Wolverine, it is the tie-in movie to X-Men Origins. I say that pretty loosely.
Yeah, loosely.
Super loosely, which is not a bad thing, because
Mhm.
X-Men Origins was not a great movie, whereas this
This
game...
part's cool.
Yeah. Very slow-mo. Boom.
And yeah, he totally, this is a Wolverine game where you get to kill people really nice.
Yeah. Looking at it now, the graphics are good, but they haven't aged as well.
No, they didn't. When I jumped in there, I was like, whoa, this. I mean, when I first played this game, it looked really good.
Right.
But we've grown accustomed to the newer standard of graphics, and it doesn't really. The graphics don't hold up well. But
Yeah. But
they
it's still not bad.
Yeah, they still do the job. They still do the job. Once you get in there and start cutting people up and cutting their arms off or their heads, or stabbing them a bunch of times.
Yeah, I mean, that was like my favorite part of this game is because you really felt like Wolverine. Like, you're hacking dudes' limbs off, you're like throwing them into spikes, you're spinning around, doing all kinds of crazy stuff with those claws. And even though it's a movie tie-in game, it feels more like the comic book.
Yeah, it's very, very comic booky. Or, well, not comic booky, but like the comic.
Yeah, I
I
like comic booky. That's a good way to put it.
Makes it seem very cartoony.
Yeah.
But yeah, here you go. Like, you get to play as Wolverine in this game with both types of his claws, his bone claws and his adamantium claws. So depending on when the game flashes backs or does flashbacks or flash forwards, you have different abilities based on what type of claws you have. You're able to level up, get experience, and unlock new types of attacks and such like that. Here he is collecting a dog tag, and I mean, there's a lot to this game.
Yeah, there was a lot of depth to this game. Like as like a hack and slash brawler beat 'em up, there was a lot to this game. Like levels, there were mutagens, there were there was all kinds of stuff that you could customize how you played.
Yeah, like you can make your guy. You can make Logan be more accustomed to fighting robots, or depending on your experience here. Oh, they're gonna show the helicopter. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
This is what sold it to me initially.
Oh, darn
was,
it's not there. But yeah, jumping on the helicopter, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, even the lunging was cool, and it's very cinematic for what it does. Like I said, the graphics, the voice work was really good in this game. Like they hired voice actors that had done previous stuff for these characters. So while they weren't the movie people, they're the voice actors definitely fit the characters. So I was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
Like everybody sounded good.
One cool feature of the game that I liked was how when you take damage in the game, your character's body gets all riddled with bullet holes. If you something explodes next to you, your guts are hanging out basically, and you can sit there still and you can watch as his body heals.
Yeah, that was
really
pretty cool.
Yeah, I would in my Let's Play, you're gonna see me stand next to a bunch of barrels, and I'm just blowing them up next to myself just so I can watch the healing factor heal his body.
And I think this game did a really good job because the problem with Wolverine is, how do you make him feel like Wolverine with the healing factor without making him feel invincible? And I think this game did a pretty good job of that. One of the few games where regenerating health actually makes sense.
Yeah. So you regenerate your health, and then it gets to the point where if your health bar drains all the way down, you have that little heart bar.
Right.
And that also starts to drain, and when that gets all the way down, then you die.
Right.
But you got to give yourself time to heal that back, and then heal back the regular health bar. So I mean, there's a good balance to it.
And the controls in and how it played fundamentally was really good. There's your helicopter part, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, here we go. Yeah, we can't do this without showing the helicopter. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, very cinematic, and you got to fight. Who'd you fight? Didn't you fight Blob in this game?
You fight a lot of the movie characters.
Mhm.
Blob. Yeah, there you go.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
And this guy sounds just like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, like I said, the voice actors
Yeah.
were really good. Fatalities,
Mhm.
all the fatalities are really cool. Like that one's obviously a scripted fatality, but
Yeah.
you could do fatalities to pretty much all the characters. You know, slicing heads off, doing all kinds of crazy
Mhm.
stuff like that. So,
Very true to the comic. Very Wolverine.
right. So, all right. Well, you know, pretty good overall. A couple of negative points I do want to touch on. It's a pretty short game. Like as a movie tie game, as a beat 'em up, it is a fairly short game.
Yeah, it's pretty short. There's like, four. I want to say there's like four like main like eras in the game or something like that. Like
Yeah.
section areas where. Yeah.
Yeah, your first time you can probably get through it in about 8 to 10 hours, and then after that you can blow through it.
Mhm.
And the story is definitely not going to be what keeps you going through, because the story
No.
kind of jumps around. It's very weird and it doesn't make too much sense. And it's not really.
Yeah,
compelling.
I just played it to be Wolverine and just cut stuff.
Right, and if that's what you're looking for, that's good. Certain enemies I had a problem with it being more about can you execute this in certain succession rather than actually skill taking them down.
Yeah, that happened in my very first. I think in my second video for my Let's Play, I fight the first boss, the Leviathan,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets repetitive.
It's basically just dodge, jump, claw, dodge, jump,
Lunge.
claw. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets repetitive. That's my main, pet peeve with this game. The repetitiveness after a while.
So overall, what would you give this game? Like,
Overall, and it's
maybe we should do 2 scores. Like, what would you give it? What did you give it the first time you played it?
the first time I played it, I would give it an 8.5.
Okay. Now, what would you give it today?
Today, it would be a 7.5.
Still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad for a 4-year-old game.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
When I first played it, I'd probably be up there. I might have even given it a 9, just because it did Wolverine so right and all the customization and stuff. And like you said, I didn't really care about the story. I just
Mhm.
wanted to cut stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I'd probably drop it down to probably about an 8, just because time hasn't been all that kind to it, but still a good game. And you can go out and buy it for like $8.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's one of the few games that I played the demo, and I played the demo over and over and over
Mhm.
again, and then finally I was like, all right, I gotta get this game.
Yeah. That was. It's a good game.
It is.
It's still good.
So next week I will review Aliens vs. Predator 2010, and I will do a side-by-side comparison for Colonial Marines, screenshot style, just to
Very
show you the evolution of 2 years of gaming history.
Or de-evolution.
Right. What do you got going on?
I'm not sure.
I think I'm gonna start Devil May Cry back up. I was having some Vegas problems that
Yeah,
I think I got worked out.
my last 2 Tomb Raider videos should be coming out this week. Maybe tomorrow and Wednesday.
Okay, what of those Tomb Raider games you played? Which ones did you like? The only one you didn't like was Anniversary, right?
Yeah,
the
I
other
liked
2 you liked.
Yeah, I liked
Underworld
Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Anniversary. I hated that game. I hated that game. I liked the nostalgic bits that it gave me. I remember doing this on the PlayStation 1. But yeah.
I was pretty sure of that. So yeah, I'll do AVP. Devil May Cry should start back up again, because like I said, I was having some computer problems with Vegas. It was crashing every time I'd open it.
Mm-hmm.
Trace it back to QuickTime. So, and I think that's pretty much it. Keep an eye on the website. I'll probably do some streams, maybe not tonight. Not really feeling it. But maybe Wednesday night. So stream some stuff. Maybe a raid. I don't know. We got big patch day tomorrow for World of Warcraft, so maybe Wednesday night we'll hop in to the new raid and die a lot. So we'll see. I want to get back into Borderlands 2.
Isn't there a new DLC for that?
Coming soon.
Alright.
So I also picked up Orcs Must Die 2, which is like a third-person shooter tower defense game. And I've been hearing crazy good stuff about it, and I had some Steam cash left over, and they were having a sale, and you could get like that and all its DLC for like $6. So yeah,
very nice.
I did play that a little bit today. It's interesting being.
I had a question.
All right.
Like Redbox,
Uh-huh.
when Redbox gets games, how long does it take before they get new games?
They're usually pretty quick. You can go online and check it out. Like they had Colonial Marines the day it came out.
So I wonder if they'll have Tomb Raider tomorrow.
Possible. I mean, you could. I don't know if it'll be up there now, but let's see. Redbox. I know this makes for compelling television.
I know.
Can you even call it television anymore?
Well, we're gonna be on TV.
Eventually.
Like a week from now.
Tomb Raider. Not Tomb Raider.
But yeah.
Tomb Raider, March 5th. It's listed on there.
Okay, well, I'll look for it tomorrow.
Yeah, you can
Rent
mosey
it for-
on over.
Yeah, rent it for a couple days, and when my brothers give me the other one, then I can just do the old switcheroo, maybe.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, because I want to play it.
Just keep in mind, it's $2 a day.
I know. Hopefully, because I want to have something to play when we get snowed in.
Yeah, that is coming. So we will see. I might take some games to GameStop tomorrow because I got that bonus.
There you go, 50%.
Yep, and the guy at Arundel Mills GameStop knows me because I'm in there all the time. So even if I don't pre-order, sometimes they hook me up with the pre-order codes as long as I come in like that day while they still have some.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, but I don't know. I got more than enough to play. I got Fable. Might just wait. All right. Well, that'll about do it for us today.
Yeah, that was a good episode today.
Yeah, I mean we talked for about an hour. We started a little late because we ordered food and it decided to take its time getting here.
I know.
So, all right, guys, we will see you eventually if we survive the snowstorm. How many inches are we supposed to get?
6.
6?
Well, it varies. They have different models.
Weathermen, they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
Gamers Digest is a Spider-One and Mr. Factastic production. All characters and games are owned by their respective companies and are used under the Fair Use Law. Check out Gamers Digest at gamersdigest.me, on YouTube under Gamers Digest Podcast, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at The Gamers Digest. Viewer questions and comments can always be sent to gamersdigestpodcast@gmail.com. See you next week.